Well, good afternoon or good morning to all my fellow Americans, and I think that this video is dedicated for the discussion of the national security of the United States. So I'm waiting for all my fellow Americans to come here and react with me on a live video. So I'll be waiting here. Let me check how many of my fellow Americans has watched the link just I shared right now. And as soon as if anybody start coming here, I will be discussing regarding the United States security. Nobody has come yet. I will be awaiting for all the questions being asked and a complete discussion for the United States national security, whether it is the border security or whether it is the southern border security and much more. Making this video will help the discussion whether even if it is censored by the National Security Board of the United States or either even by one of the armed force services like national one this FBI or anything which is needed for the national security, I would be very happy that if my video will be used for the national security purpose discussion. Yeah, it's true, I am not any kind of a representative or anything, but I feel it will be the more interesting and a more interactive to seek question and make some few discussions about the national security of the United States. Well, until if anybody came to react, I wish to say about the national security. Well, it starts right now. As long as we seen in the United States that the national security is being undermined despite the laws, and most of the southern border is completely seems to be open. And I hope that this is causing a very drastic change in the laws. There is nothing a change in the law. There is only issue is that the law is not being applied. The existing laws are not being applied. This is what we need to check. Why the laws are not being applied? It is the responsibility of government that the existing laws to be applied for the security of the American civilians, for the security of the American citizens. The first and foremost part is defending a southern border. It's it's proved that most of the Mexicans used to enter the border illegally so that they can get into the United States and get to all the constitutional rights. But let me clear one thing: the United States constitutional right you can avail only if you are the United States citizen. If you want to be the part of the United States Constitution, you need to enter legally into the United States, and you will get for whatever you have to go under the naturalization process. Without the naturalization process, you cannot say yourself that I need, just because you entered the United States illegally doesn't mean that you're going to get the United States constitutional rights for no reason. It is a crime to enter the United States illegally in first place. And second thing, another thing facing into the United States is a threat from Muslim civilians. This is what is being rejected. Sorry, I don't mind if anybody call this as a racial, but this is the true fact which I wish to share. The true fact is that the threat from the Muslim population into the United States is rising. But talking about it is make anybody racial or hell with it. But I don't care whether it is making racial. I like to talk on to the real facts. The real fact is that the immigration of the Muslim immigration into the United States has caused the rise into the anti-Semitism. Since it's causing the anti-Semitism, it needed to be talk on this because we don't want to repeat the 1944 Holocaust of our Jewish people. We need to stop this. When if you wanted to stop something, you should go to the root of the problem. You need to uproot the problem from its root. It's because the rise of Muslim immigration into the United States is not just a threat to our Jewish people, it is a threat to the free society, it is a threat to the civilized society. And I want President Trump to work on this to ban. I want it will happen only if the all United States citizens will sign the petition into the Supreme Court. I want my fellow Americans to react on this regarding on this issue. Well, this is not just an issue we need to speak. There are so many issues to be spoken, which you need to get. I don't think that without the issue, without talking to the issue, without discussing the issue, I don't think that there will be the issue. We need to stop the issue from its root because of rising anti-Semitism and the attacks on Christian civilians, attacks on, you can say that, attacks on the Native Americans just because they are something, just because they are of kind of any other sex or religion. This is not. But what the Muslim immigration into the United States, it's really causing the threat. It's not just a threat of our Jewish people, it is causing the threat to other people. So this is what the issue we need to discuss based on the national security. This is the issue of national security. This is not just a immigration law. I think that it is not just a southern border issue, but it will be some kind of the issue even while at the airports, whether at the entering port of the United States. Well, I do understand that border security officials might be doing their duty, but just because of the United States the first amendment of the United States Constitution says that Congress shall make no law in respect of religion. Well, that's true. It is one of the Jewish and a Christian belief that the Congress shall make no laws regarding the religion of individual. But my fellow Americans think on the either way that whether this kind of thinking is being seen into the Muslim population into the United States. What they say? No, our religion is great and our religion is a truth one, so others should be killed just because they're not accepting you. Yes, I thought to say that I'm not going to accept Islam because I am a Jew and I'm proud of it. The same thing it will go to the free belief come to the United States to make their life better. Why the First Amendment, the no law in respect of religion? It means in the border of United States, every individual has the right of the free exercise of religion. Every individual into the United States has free exercise of religion. Well, it is our thinking. It is the constitutional writers thinking. It is Americans. Do you think on the either way? Whether are the immigrants going to assimilate this? Any kind of immigrant. It's not just it is not just about the Islamic immigration, but the immigrants, any other immigrants who come here. Well, since from the history to till date, it is only the Muslim immigrants who has been causing the attacks on the other Native Americans or other immigrants of another religion. If you feel that this is wrong, we need to stop this. We need to stop by signing the petition. Well, I feel my fellow Americans knows better than me in regarding in this issue. Only thing is that nobody is reacting very carefully on this issue just because the first constitution says that we should not look at the religion of the people as long as they are the American citizens. But we think it's we think we're not going to bother the other people. We're not going to harass the people for whatever the belief they belongs to. But are the Muslim immigrants have the same understanding? Are they understanding the same? I do have some of the Muslim friends previously. They did tell me to come to Islam because it is a great. Muhammad is a great. He is great. They are great. Well, it's all great, great, great. But in that case, while he is saying it to me, he did not understand that it is me. I am proud of it for whatever the religion I am born into. In this way, you need they make attack. If we say no, they start attack. Well, then this is the justice is being disdained all around the world. Let me tell you something. There are 55 Muslim nations on planet Earth, and by Islamic law, you are not allowed to practice any other religion into the Islamic nations. And why we allow to practice Islam in our nations? It's like we are self-responsible for what. Have you ever seen into the Jewish history? What the Jewish history speaks, the history of our people speaks. The greatest crime in the history is silence, not violence. Why? It's because we are maintaining the silence despite we witness the violence. This is what is happening into the United States today. The greatest crime in the history is silence, not violence. Why? It's because despite we witness the violence, we still choose to maintain the silence. So don't make this crime by being silent. Sit back, watch whatever the violence is happening, and sit back into your silence. Your silence is not going to help us. They are not going to understand that we have the individual rights to practice a free exercise of religion, at least into the border of the United States. No, they are not going to understand this. So what we need to do is that we need to break our silence and speak up against this. If anybody who has the problem with the Jews and Christians, they are need to leave United States. They are welcome to leave United States as soon as possible. This is what was video about. I have seen that many has not been talking on this issue. I feel this is right to talk on this issue. All my message is that don't remain silent looking at the violence. The more you remain silent, the more increase it will bring an increase in the world. The violence is not going to decrease until you break the silence. It is what the history of our Jewish people who has been faced the Holocaust. It's because of silence. Why? Since from 1939 to 1944, Hitler and his guys have killed the 6 million people. Our forefathers has been killed just because that we are a Jewish people. Since start, there is silence is being maintained. Why silence is being maintained, and for this reason, the silence has costed the lives of our 6 million Jews from 1939 to 1944. So, and the same thing, I don't want this to happen into the United States borders, because United States in reality is the Judeo-Christian nation. It is being built on the principle of Judeo-Christianity. My fellow Americans, you think that if you learn from the Holocaust of our people, from 1939 to 1944, 6 million Jews have been killed just because they are Jews, and our people has maintained the silence. The silence is not going to decline the violence. The silence will just increase the violence. The more you silence, there is a more increase in the violence. That's the only message. That's the only message from my video. Don't remain silent. Break your silence. Act against violence. This is what, in this way, we can minimize the violence. Whatever the CU violence, attacking my fellow Americans, attacking my fellow Jews is not a political problem. It is a religious war on the United States. It is a religious war on the American Jews. It is a religious war on American citizens. We had to fight. It's we not invited the religious war. It is as they committed the religious war. And we, instead of silence, we need to break the silence and act against this violence. I'm going to finish my live video with an American pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Baruch Hashem America. God bless America, and God bless President Trump for whatever he trying to do for making America great again. I want my fellow Americans to become the helping hand for President Trump to make America great again. Thank you for watching.